Kia ora and welcome to TEPS121 16A, ICT and Information Literacy. My name's Sarah Archard. I'm a lecturer in Te Oranga, the School of Human Development and Movement Studies, and I'm really looking forward to working with you over the next 12 weeks. ICT is a particular passion of mine, so I love being in this paper. I'm really interested in how ICT, our own digital literacy, our own information literacy, and also how we can use ICT in educational settings to support and enhance learning too. So I'm sure we're going to have some great conversations over the next couple of weeks. I just wanted to take this opportunity to introduce you to our Moodle space, and you're already here, so well done. Talk through some of the parts of it, discuss some of the expectations of the paper, and also just show you a little bit about how it will be working. So firstly, let's have a look at the Moodle space. As you can see here, we've got the main core of the paper, and information on either side. One of the first things that you might like to do is to actually have a look at the participants space here. So you click on the blue participant over here, it will bring up all your names, and you can click through here to find your one. So I've come up first by coincidence, and I'll click into mine, and this will have all your information in here. Okay, and oh, it's got my old information in there. I need to change that and check that and update it. And one of the important things in here will be the groups that you are in. So every week we have discussions, and you'll be in a group for that discussion. So if you come into your profile, apart from having the papers that you're undertaking, it will also have some information about the group you'll be in from weeks 1 to 4. So come into the participant space, probably one of the first things that you'll be doing to find out which group you're in. And then I can simply come back to the main paper by clicking on this little blue link at the top. Okay, so here we are back on our main Moodle space, where basically everything will be happening for us, all our interaction, as this is a fully online paper. And I know that some people, this will be the first time that you've come into a fully online paper, and other people will have had some experiences of studying at a distance. All papers are slightly different, and ours works in a particular way with a particular philosophy, which I'll talk a little bit about. But mainly for us, our learning comes as we construct meaning together in our weekly discussion forums. So it's important that you come in and a regular participant within our community of learners. So one of the first things I like to do, and you are doing, you're listening to your welcome video here, and we're just having a quick sweep around our Moodle space, and over here on the right hand side is the calendar, where I've put key dates in for you. So paper started, but also there'll be dates such as upcoming assignments, teaching recess, and end of semester. So just a helpful little reminder on the right about things which are happening in the paper. Further down is the news forum, and this is a space that I use to actually send out information to you. So if I've got a message that I'd like to send out to all of your email boxes, this is where I'll do it from. So again, please check that your emails are connected to the paper and that you're getting all the information that you need, otherwise you will miss out on stuff. Okay, and here's our main administration block, which has our paper outline in it, which I'll come back to in a minute, and our communication spaces. And it's been really good to see you going into the introduction space to say hello, and it's been really interesting reading about where you're from and what you're doing and why you're coming into teaching. And down here is called the Bloggers One-to-One space, and this place is where you can talk to me privately. So if you've got a question or just want to talk to me about something, you can come into here, and it's strictly between you and me. Okay, similarly, if I've got something I'd like to say to you, that's where I'll be coming in to talk to you. Down here though is the Bloggers Questions and Answer space, and we're going to be bloggers for this semester. Okay, that's our name. And in here is a space where we can actually ask questions about the group, about the paper to the group. So if I'm coming into here, I'm going to say I'd like to talk about, let me see, I've got a question about the paper outline, so I might put a little thing in here, paper outline, and this is where you see how fast I am or not at typing. Could you, oh gosh, terrible typing, could you please, ... And if I post that by coming down here, this will show up as a little question in here. And now I come in here every 24 hours to see what's happening in the paper. So if you post a question, I will come in and answer it within 24 hours. Or if you've got the answer to the question, please do come in and support your peers. So I might go, oh yes, gosh, Sarah wants to know when that assignment's due in. Well, I can come in here, click reply, and say, hey, it's due in on the, hi Sarah, it is ... Okay, so you're very welcome to come in here and answer any questions as well. This is about us working together as a group. So there's our questions and answer spaces. No question is ever too big or too small. Please never be hang back on asking questions, because I can guarantee that if you're thinking it, somebody else is thinking it in your group, and it's really helpful. So no question too big or too small. Just come in there, pop it in this space, and it's a really good way of finding things out. So I never want you to be sitting at home frustrated or wondering what's happening. So always please pop a question in there. In here's a notice board, and again I use this for just for anything interesting happening within the university, so I'll go in there and put anything up that I'd like to make you aware of. So it's just a question of looking out for, there's usually a little sign here, a little flag indicating that there's a message for you. Now, coming down to the useful resources, we've got a Netiquette PowerPoint. Please do have a look through this one. Okay, I'm not going to go through the whole thing now because you really would be tired, but basically this is how we are going to be interacting online. Okay, it is different. Every program varies in content and delivery, and it's a question of finding out what works for you. But always remember, you're not alone. You really are very much a part of a community of learners. We're here to support each other. And as you come down, it tells you a little bit about Moodle. And this is sitting there, so don't think, oh gosh, it's going really quickly. But here are our core Netiquette guidelines. And Netiquette is essentially how we are going to interact online in this particular forum. So we ask that you keep entries to 150 to 200 words. And there's a reason for that. Anything more than 200 words, people don't read. So you could have been writing the best thing ever, but after 200 words, people shut off to it. Also, if you exceed that word limit, research has really shown that you're kind of dominating the conversation, much like I'm doing at the moment. So think of it as a conversation, and think about it as turn-taking, and thinking about what you're going to say in that 150 to 200 words. And it does mean thinking about how you're going to write things, to really sort of chunk down the words that you're writing. But equally so, it's also important that when we come in, we say hi to everyone, and you know, keep it in a conversational style, but I guess within our formal Moodle setting. There is participation required, which is 3 times a week, and that is because it is a conversation. So coming in, you need to come in regularly throughout the week to take part in that conversation. Read all the readings in our supporting information space, or the resources in there, because it supports a particular topic for your weekly conversation, so it turns it into an informed conversation as well. And also, I think this is a key one: remember, your words are not accompanied by body language or prompts. Please use emoticons and those little smiley faces, but don't overread them. I'm sitting here at the moment waving my hands around. You can't see that online. You can't see that I'm smiling. So, you know, at times we do challenge ideas, but it's about being mindful of the way we do it. And if you put a little smiley face by the side of it, that, you know, can take the sting out of something we're saying. Just as if I was saying something in real life, I might be smiling as I say it, or, you know, you can tell from my body language that I'm not actually being confrontational. I'm just generally wanting to find something out. And also, you do have a 30-minute time limit to edit any postings that you make. So if you write something, you think, oh my gosh, I want to change that, you can. You've got 30 minutes. And after that time, you can. I still have editing rights, I guess. So if you contact me, I can also make changes for you as well. As with any Netiquette, you know, it's just about thinking and being respectful of others, thinking about different cultural viewpoints, and consider what they're saying, okay? Because part of coming into our discussions is to be able to share different perspectives, to learn from each other, and to contribute our own ideas as well. And we can only do that if we're feeling safe in the environment that we're doing it. Remember that it's not me personally being, you know, it's not an attack on myself. It's actually an idea which we're wanting to explore, so it's about taking that away from the personal. And it's good to challenge, because, you know, we want to think about some key ideas coming through, and sometimes we will challenge ideas, which is great. It's just being mindful of the way that we do them. And by following the Netiquette guide, it means that we have really productive, in-depth conversations, and it means that we can avoid, you know, and I've been working online for 8 years now, and there's never been an intentional moment of somebody wanting to upset anybody. It's always quite unintentional, and so please give people the benefit of the doubt. By following the netiquette guide, we sort of can help avoid that sort of talking through each other and misunderstandings. So again, just be mindful. If you've got any questions at all, please don't hesitate to contact me. And down here, just some help, a little clip for us to look at. And if not, last but not least, if in doubt, ask. Can't break anything, and enjoy. Let's have some fun Moodling this semester. But so that was just a whistle stop through there of Moodle moments. And please do go back and have a look when you've probably got a little bit more time. Now, the thing that you're probably thinking, I can't believe she skipped that. That was the main thing that I'd like to look at, is the paper outline, which I'm going to go into now. Okay, here's another picture of me and a picture of Simon, who was in this paper. And I'd just like to say a big thank you to Simon, who covered for me the other day when I got unavoidably detained, and apologies to the MMP people. I'm sorry to have missed you, but I know he would have done a phenomenal job, because he's taught in this paper for a couple of years, and is not only been an online student, but is an online lecturer as well. So once again, thank you, Simon. Coming down to the main content of the paper, I'm not going to go through each of the points, but I really do encourage you to sit down and have a look at the introduction, the paper description, and the paper structure, because it talks about the context of the paper and what we're going to be looking at, what we're going to be thinking about. And also here, oops, didn't mean it to do that. Up here. There we go. Here in the paper description, it talks about the links and the aspects that you'll be developing in relation to the graduating teaching standards, and also the cultural competencies in Tate Ako. So you might want to look at those two policies and think about the competencies that you'll be developing over the next 12 weeks. The key question for us in this paper is, what does ICT mean for me as a teacher? And I guess one of those first things that we're doing this week is talk about, well, actually, what does ICT mean to me? But and as we follow on over the 3 modules of the paper, we look at more about ICT and what it means to me. It means we look at becoming information literate, digitally literate, and also how to communicate information online. And this has got all the other information here as well, just as much like you're looking at all your paper outlines at the moment, when it starts, when it finishes, and how to get hold of people, and our timetable. Now, our timetable is quite easy because all our interaction takes place in Moodle, so there aren't any face-to-face classroom sessions. And again, take time to look at the learning outcomes, the outcomes that we will be developing over these next 12 weeks. In assessment, we've got our individual assessment down here. Now, assessment 1 is our online discussions. Assessment 2 is information literacy in action, and assignment 3 is a multimedia presentations of research findings. Please don't be put off by these titles, because before every single assessment I'll be going through the expectations of the assignment, much like I'm doing at the moment, and you'll also have covered the content in our weekly discussions as well. So these things will become clearer as the weeks unfold. And as always, if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. Now, looking at assignment 1, the due date is the 29th of February. Please don't panic, you don't have anything due in today. This is your online discussions, and your online discussions are graded. And in here is the criteria and what we'll be looking at, or what I'll be looking at when I sit down to mark. So there aren't anything hidden. This is essentially what I'll be looking at. Now, a focus question is posted weekly, and we'll go and look at the discussions in a minute. And as I said earlier, this is where we work as a community of learners. We think about that question, we think about the resources that we've been looking at in the supporting information space, and we negotiate and make meaning together and construct meaning together within that weekly conversation. There is a limit of, also a minimum of 3 contributions throughout that week, and that's so that the conversations flow, but you're very welcome to make more. Now, you also need to think about creating space for others to contribute, but if you have a look at that netiquette guideline, I'm sure that will really support you in your conversations. Now here's the marking criteria, so I'll be looking to see if you've contributed 3 a week in a timely way, and that your postings are relevant to and show understandings of the topic, that you link to theory and research or practice, and where relevant, your personal experience. And it's really good when you make those connections to your personal experiences, because that demonstrates your understanding of connecting theory and practice and theory. So never underestimate putting in your personal experiences. And here's a key link here, or key part of the criteria. They're giving recognition to extending on others' contributions and bringing in new perspectives, because that's where the richness of these conversations take place. So we're not going to be agreeing with each other, just like we don't in tutorials. We're going to offer new perspectives, and we're going to learn new things. Often, I come into conversations and I think, oh, this is what I think, and I've sort of completely turn my ideas around from having these conversations. So be open to what other people are thinking, or it might be affirming of what you already think. And again, that your articulation of views is thoughtful, clear and relevant. Okay, so that's your first assignment off and running, your contribution to the discussion forums. Week 1 isn't assessed because I appreciate that you're coming in and getting used to the environment. So week 1 isn't assessed. Okay, so from week 2, that's when I'll start assessing, and you get your grade at the end of the paper. I won't go through these 2 final assignments because I appreciate I'm chatting on at the moment. As I said earlier, I will be giving voice files in time for you to actually work on those assignments. So coming back to our Moodle space, there we go. And I'm just going to briefly come down to our week 1, and this will be open tomorrow. Okay, and every week you'll have the same thing. Week 1, supporting information and discussion. Week 2, supporting information and discussion. And you click on this first link, which will take you into here, which will have some information. There isn't a reading this week, but I'd just like you to have a think and look at the paper outline and familiarise yourself with the Moodle space. Okay, and there'll be a voice file in there, so it's really important you go into there every week. And here is our discussion space. So week 1 discussion. And here's our focus question for the week. Upload an image of something that's important to you and explain why. Please don't worry if you have trouble uploading an image, contact me and I'll help you do that. Just talk about what the term ICT means for you, information communication technology means to you. What do you feel are characteristics of someone who is confident and competent user of ICT? There's no right or wrong answers in this, just looking for your ideas. And also, what are you really hoping to learn from this paper? And then coming down to here, I said please don't add a new discussion topic because all your groups are set up. And this is where you're thinking, hang on, A, B, C and D. If you remember back in the participant space, this will be where you find your group number. So if I'm in group D and I'm going to go in and talk in that conversation, I click on here. Again, here's the focus question, and I come in and I'm going to click here to reply. I won't put anything in at the moment. Actually, I'll just put that in and show you how to reply. So I put my reply in there, 150 to 200 words. If I'm uploading a file, so if I was uploading an image, I think this is of me and my family on holiday. So I'll just show you. I'm just going to drag and drop it into this space, and that will upload the image, and then I'm going to post it to the forum. I will delete this, I promise you. See, this is oh gosh, there's me in the middle. There's my mum and my 2 daughters in Wales, where I was lucky enough to go and catch up just before Christmas last year. So there's my reply. You can resize these photos as well, so they're not quite so big. But so just a little bit about the form, then if I come in, I can then reply by clicking on the reply button. Okay, so that's how we're going to participate in the online discussions. If you accidentally go into the wrong discussion group, you will get a little notification saying you can't contribute in here. Okay, that doesn't mean you can't contribute in your own group, it just means you've accidentally gone into the wrong discussion group. And I encourage you to do that, just to have a look and see what everybody else is talking about. But don't be alarmed if it says you can't post in here. It just means that you've come into the wrong group and you need to go back and find your own group, which will let you participate. Anyhow, I'm just taking a breath there. I realise I have been chatting on for a while. I promise that my future voice file clips or my future recordings won't be this long, but it's just needing to talk to you to familiarise yourself with this space, and I will be chatting to you throughout this first week as well. So in the meantime, ka kite anō, looking forward to meeting you all over the next few weeks, and as always, any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Ka kite anō.